The year 1880 saw the Second Anglo-Afghan War in full swing. The British campaign had been successful, having defeated various Afghan tribes and taken control of multiple cities, including Jalalabad. After a series of military confrontations, the British appointed Abdul Rahman Khan as Amir of Afghanistan, intending to establish a friendly leadership. However, after installing Abdul Rahman Khan as a puppet leader in Kabul, Ayub Khan, the son of the previous Amir Shah Ali and the governor of Herat, refused to accept this arrangement, instead asserting his claim to the Afghan throne. Subscribe to our channel, Echoes of the Past, and discover the untold stories of history. Remember to share this video to bring others into this narrative as well. Your subscription inspires us to produce even more engaging content. With a solid base in the West and considerable support from tribes and dissatisfied factions, Ayub gathered a substantial force to march on Kandahar, a crucial city in southern Afghanistan and a stronghold for the British at that time. Estimates suggest that Ayub Khan's army numbered between 10,000 to 12,000 men, although some accounts indicate it could have been even larger due to the surge of tribal volunteers joining him during the march toward Kandahar. To confront Ayub's push, General Burrows assembled a diverse contingent of around 2,500 British and Indian soldiers. This force included several hundred members of Indian cavalry units like the Bombay Light Cavalry, as well as several artillery pieces. General Burrows's mission was to intercept the Afghan troops advancing from Herat toward Kandahar. Nevertheless, Burrows's campaign faced numerous challenges from the beginning. His soldiers were already weary and under-resourced, and the intelligence on Ayub's movements was both scarce and often unreliable. In an initial attempt, Burrows sought to impede Ayub's advance by capturing Afghan artillery that had been left behind by a mutinous regiment at Girishk. But this action only aggravated Ayub further. Burrows subsequently retreated to a position at Kushki Nakud, situated halfway to Kandahar, where he could potentially intercept Ayub Khan en route to either Ghazni or Kandahar. He remained there for a week, during which the seized artillery was reinforced with additional gunners from the British infantry. Burrows seriously miscalculated the scale and effectiveness of Ayub Khan's forces. Anticipating an ill-equipped and poorly trained army, he moved toward the village of Maiwand, without realizing he was advancing toward a highly motivated and numerically superior adversary. On the afternoon of July 26th, news arrived that the Afghan contingent was heading for the Maiwand Pass, only a few miles away. At dawn the following day, Burrows progressed toward Maiwand, thinking he would encounter only a small advance unit of Ayub's army. Scouts had reported limited enemy activity, and the intelligence vastly underestimated the size and capability of the Afghan forces. By this time, the Afghans had grown to 25,000 strong. The British are ready for combat. Burrows had prepared his troops for battle. He had opted for a poor defensive position in open land with minimal natural cover and no secure retreat path. His forces were thinly spread with exposed flanks, and his cavalry could not monitor or react to Afghan troop movements effectively. The bombardment commences. The conflict commenced with a significant artillery exchange. For 3 hours, both sides endured an intense bombardment. The battle unfolds, the heat unbearable. The Afghans assault the British left. During the engagement, the British artillery on the left exhausted their supplies and withdrew to resupply. The Afghan troops then initiated an assault on the British left flank. The left side, made up of Indian infantry regiments, faltered and shifted dramatically to the right. Consequently, the 66th Regiment of Foot was overwhelmed by the force of the assault. The British army began to disintegrate. Artillery units protect the withdrawal. The E Battery of the Brigade Royal Horse Artillery remained steadfast, shielding the retreat of the entire British brigade. E Battery continued firing until the very last moments, preparing to move when the Afghans were merely 15 yards away. However, the third section was overtaken, the final resistance. Amidst the retreat, a small group of soldiers from the 66th Regiment of Foot, together with Indian troops from the Bombay Grenadiers, made a desperate last stand in a walled garden located near the village of Kig. Severely outnumbered and running low on ammunition, approximately 11 officers and 164 soldiers pledged to defend their position until the end. As their ammunition dwindled, the men fixed bayonets and fought in close combat. Surrounded, they continued to fight until all were either dead or mortally wounded. When Ayub Khan's forces took control of the position, they were so struck by the intensity of the stand that they spared some of the injured and honored the dead with burial. Only a handful of men survived the final fight. The consequences. In total, more than 900 British and Indian soldiers lost their lives, with many more wounded or captured during the chaotic escape to Kandahar. Alongside British losses, around 3,500 Afghan fighters also died, indicating significant casualties for both sides. The battle became a legendary episode in Afghan history. Although the British would ultimately regroup and claim victory at the Battle of Kandahar under General Roberts, the defeat at Maiwand left a profound mark on British military pride and underscored the dangers of underestimating local resistance in imperial conflicts.